Welcome back to On the Same Team, a podcast about fostering collaboration and shared success. As always, we're here to talk about teamwork, culture, positivity, and what it takes to build a championship roster, whether you're stepping onto the field or into the boardroom. Today, we have an absolute all-star joining us. If you want to know high-level execution looks like in the financial world, look no further than April Mahr. April is the Vice President of Residential Mortgage Lending at Prime Bank right here in Sioux City, where she has been running winning playbooks for her clients for nearly 18 years. She's a multi-year President's Club Award winner, which tells you everything you need to know about her drive, her consistency, and her ability to close deals. She specializes in guiding first-time home buyers, acting as a trusted coach to help them navigate one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives. We're going to dive into her incredible journey and her strategies for building a trusted local brand. April, we're thrilled to have you in the studio today. Let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about your background and what inspired you for this career path.
So I landed in this career by accident. I went to school to be a paralegal and I was 9+ months pregnant, graduated from college, had my baby the next day, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew deep down that paralegal wasn't probably the avenue I wanted to take. So I responded to an ad for a receptionist at a mortgage company in Cedar Rapids. Didn't even know what a mortgage was. I legit had to ask my mom what a mortgage was. I was 20. And she was explaining it to me and said, I think I could be a receptionist for a job like that. Sounds easy. So it was a broker type job where they would farm out to about 20 different lenders, all these different mortgage products. There was multiple mortgage lenders, started as a receptionist. Then they kind of threw me in, oh, well, maybe you should be a processor. I'm like, okay, that seems gradual. Loved that job. It was more of the behind the scenes, not really talking to people, doing mortgage paperwork, and I really, really liked it. Then decided from Cedar Rapids needed to come back home. Siouxland has been my home to start raising our family. Got a job at a local law firm, will not name the name. Worked there for 3 days, hated it. I walked out. I just knew, like, nope, not for me. So started, that was when phone books were still a thing, opened up my phone book, started looking around. Okay, well, there's mortgage companies here. I can do that. Landed on Countrywide Home Loans, which is no longer here. Cold called that place, got a job as a processor until I started, and they were like, oh, by the way, you're actually going to be a mortgage lender. I was like, well, no, I don't want to do that. I don't know how to do that. They're like, yeah, you have the right personality. I think you will be great at it. Started where I would just take internal phone calls and call-ins, and not super salesy, which was great because I knew how to do the paperwork and I knew how to put someone in a program, but I didn't really, still that sales, it scared me.
Mm-hmm.
That Countrywide started going south, where you probably Google Countrywide in the 2007 era, and you'll find out quickly that they went under. So I went to another small local bank here in town for about a year, landed at Prime Bank in 2008. And that's where my home has been ever since. Really didn't start ramping up with my sales. It took a couple years here. Obviously, to start in 2008, if you research that, that was a really rough time with
Yeah.
mortgages. They were revamping rules, making it really strict. No longer you couldn't do stated income, any of those types of programs that I really grew up with in the broker world. Those were gone. So I kind of had to start fresh. And I would say probably 2014, 2015 is when I really started taking off. I mean, it really does take a while to get from point A to where I'm at now. And started hitting President's Club for the Iowa Mortgage Association in 2015. And I haven't really turned back since. I've been one of those top producers in Sioux City since then. I started off, my office was in a realtor shop in 2011 until about 2022. I would say that contributed to a lot of my gaining access to local realtors and their trust in me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I kind of got the confidence that I didn't need to sit in that realtor office full time, that I could go out on my own and still have a great referral network. And I proved myself right. It was probably the biggest risk that I took and the most rewarding. I'm very happy that I did. It's been very successful for me to do that because I could also then branch out to other realtor shops and not just the one that I was sitting in. And that's probably my best advice to anyone, is to just not narrow who you think should be sending you business. You've got to really look elsewhere. If something's not working, then kind of put a plan together and see, okay, maybe this will work better. There's not, if I look at consistency on my referrals and where they come from, a lot of people just automatically think realtors, 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 because that kind of goes hand in hand with the mortgage lender. But it's not. I would say heavily my base comes from prior and just word of mouth. I did a great job for your cousin. And so they're sending them to me. And I've been doing this long enough now where it's like third level referrals. They're coming in from when I helped them back in 2012 on something. If you do a great job and you build those connections, they're going to come back. And that's, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, the bulk of my business where that comes from.
Nice. All right. I want to start back where college. Where'd you go to college at?
Kirkwood in Cedar Rapids.
Kirkwood. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so in Cedar Rapids, and I'm assuming you were there. You worked for you. What did you say? What mortgage company you worked for while you were out there?
No, it was Fieldstone Mortgage. They're also
Was
no
it? But it was a
longer.
broker, right?
It was a broker
Yeah.
shop. Yep. Yep. So
Yeah.
honestly, I feel that was the best place for me to start because I learned to be creative. And creativity and thinking outside the box, I would say, are two of my biggest assets that you've got to have if you're sitting in this job. Not everything is black and white. You've got to think, well, what if I do this? Or how can I make this work? Sometimes you can't, but you've got to look outside the box.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that, and maybe back in 2007, you could be more creative, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's like a common like misconception of, right? Like, hey, there's one way to do a home loan
Right.
and there's one option, right? And everybody has the same rate. And we get the
Hmm.
same kind of stigma, like people are like, well, that's you could never we've been with this person for 20 years, like there's no way you could beat my rate, right? Like they assume my brother was the same when I became an insurance. He's like, well, I've been progressive for 25 years. I'm the triple, double, quadruple platinum diamond member. Like you'll never be able to beat my rate, Jake. And I'm like, well, I'm your brother, so you got to give me a chance
Right.
because you're like my only person that's willing to let me quote you right now, Travis. So he let me, and he's like, okay, that's pretty good. I think I was competitive on the auto and crushed his home. So he's like, all right, I got to look at this. And he called in Progressive. He's like, so what exactly does this high level deal get me? And then he called me back. He goes, I don't get anything for that. He's like, all right, sign me up. So, it's like that perception that we have
It
that
is.
Prime does exactly the same thing as, the next person, or, like the rate's going to be the same or the fees are the same. And like, that's just not true, right? Like you said, different options for different
Yes.
people. Prime
Yes.
might be able to get you a product that another place can't. And, like you said, first time home buyers, they don't know what questions to even ask, right? So
They don't. No.
yeah, that's creativity. I think that's probably going to surprise people that they hear like that is the reality of the industry, that you got to know the person and find the right product for that
Well,
person.
you do. And sometimes I'll get a client who's like, "Okay, I'm comparing, like compare away. That is your right to do. And at the end of the day, you just need to go with who you feel comfortable with. Rates are what they are, and for the bank A, bank B, bank C, gonna be pretty close. And it's so much more than rate. It's that relationship that you build, and the trust factor is huge with me because this is the biggest purchase that someone is going to make in their life. I want them to be able to trust me and have that relationship with. And what's great with our bank is we service it from start to finish. We do not sell that servicing off to La La Land in New Jersey, where I am your contact. If something, you run into a financial snag, you need a little help, you can call me. We will work with you. You have a question on that escrow statement that you get every year. Guess what? We're here to help. We'll walk in and we'll walk you through it, which is nice.
Yeah. I just told a story to my team a week ago or 2 weeks ago about the first person I got our first home purchase was we basically used a friend of my wife's that, family friend. And they sold it right away to Iowa Bankers Mortgage. Does that
Sure.
sound right? IBM,
Yep.
big place. And then we ended up, meeting with a local person and refinanced it. And honestly, it didn't save us much money. It just seemed like, oh, this would be a lot easier. I didn't love like the IBM stuff, and they kept it in house. The reason I told this story is because I was like, I met with 3 or 4 different lenders at the time, and this person sold me, right? Like they told me like this is the difference maker. This is why you should be with us,
Yep.
right? And I'm going to be there, and basically everything you're saying, she told me, and I went with her, and then I bought my first investment property with her as well. And I told the story because I completely screwed up the purchase. I didn't inform her what was going to happen. I was just like, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking." She's like, "Okay, I'll do it for you." And then she's like, "Well, holy shit, I didn't know you were going to do it like this." And like she worked twice as hard and made it happen and got the deal
Yes.
done. And I told my team like the reason that I went with her is because she's a great salesperson. She gave me confidence, and then she showed up and made it happen. Like when I screwed everything up, right? Like that was my first investment property, and now my wife and I own quite a few of them. And I just told him like because she was so good at sales and gave me the confidence, like the reality is she changed my life, right? Like
Yeah.
financially,
Yeah.
because if that wouldn't have fell through, I've never bought another investment property in my
Exactly.
life, right?
Yeah.
And I just think the context of like being great at your job and giving people confidence that they're meeting with the right person and this person's going to take care of them, that can really change somebody's life.
It's a game
And
changer.
so, like, being great at the sales process is something that brings a lot of value to people. When you shouldn't, like, I just think salespeople sometimes get a bad rap, like, right?
They do.
But like that's not true. Like you're solving problems and she solved a huge problem for me and I'm grateful for that forever. So just yeah, hopefully giving my team the confidence that being great at sales will change people's lives and like we got to
Absolutely.
work hard at that and just work hard at being confident and instilling that confidence in our people. So yeah, just that was my tangent on how a mortgage can change someone's life.
It
But
can.
yeah,
It can.
yeah,
I mean, you'll get people that have had a horrible experience and then they're guarded up front because they're scared. Oh, this something's going to happen. Something's going to fall through at the last minute. It's like, okay, you got to trust me. So and so sent you to me because they trust me. Now it's your turn. Trust me.
yeah, yeah.
I
Guide
don't
them to the finish.
sugarcoat. Sometimes I'll say, this is a hurdle that we're going to have, but we're going to get through it. And I'm very transparent with how the process is going to go and what to expect, which is
Yeah.
huge.
And that's, I think, another like key of having those in home and where you guys like do keep the loan because like you know the process really well because you guys it's all in house and yeah you know that what the experience is going to be from start to finish and I've come to value that too when I'm buying like an investment property like that is typically one of the things I want to know is like are you guys going to hold this loan
Yeah.
because I want to know like this is who I'm working with. And I'd say like and maybe you can tell me, but like as a first time home buyer, I thought rate was the number one thing, right? And it probably was what I was shopping, and that's why I got sold because the best rate was
Yep.
coming from Iowa Bankers Mortgage.
Yep.
And people ask me like, "What's your rate now?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I really don't know. I
Yeah.
just know that they're gonna look out for me. They're giving me the best thing they can do, and the value they bring is more important than a point. I think
Exactly.
that sounds silly, but it isn't to
It's
me anymore. And
true.
I have plenty of stuff with Prime Bank, and like just because you guys do an awesome job, and yeah, I appreciate the service. Yeah, I get on some tangents, but there's another one.
I'm very strong. Any sales meetings that we've gone to, we're very used to those phone calls, and I'm sure you are too. What's your rate? What's your rate? And there's so many things that even go into an interest rate. Customer A and customer Z aren't going to have the same rate because there's so many
Yep.
factors. And so that's so hard for me just to quote you a rate. It's like I want to make sure that I'm quoting you the rate for you and not just the A plus plus paper within the guidelines that are because it's just everyone's going to be different.
Yeah, that is I get asked that all the time. Like, can you beat this? This is what I'm paying. I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, I hope so.
Right. I mean, there's so
I'd
many
love to just tell you
factors.
yes.
Right. I'm honest too. I'm not deceitful and dangle. Here's what the rate. I mean, because that's not everyone's going to get that.
Yeah,
So
that's where our experiences are very similar in that aspect.
yeah,
Is yeah, very similar. So you got in mortgages, you went to Prime Bank. I've talked to a couple realtors that were in the game back in 2007, 2008. What was like the hardest part about that? Like just being there in that time and
You
it was
know, I
crazy.
It was, and I thank God that I was new. So I didn't know
Yeah.
what I'm like, "Oh, this is troublesome." Like, okay, it is what it is. And I was still learning. And so it wasn't like I just kind of went with the flow. And I'm still like that today. Mortgages, our rules are always changing and they're making things more tough if you want to say, but it's all for the better, you know. I mean, you kind of have to go with it. You have to adapt to these changes because a product I have today, next year might be completely different. And that's the best advice that I can give is you have to adapt because it's never going to be the exact same.
Yeah.
But it was a ride.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guest like about a month ago, and we haven't dropped his episode, but he was a big time investor and in Atlanta. And basically, he's like, I got in '99 and 2007, 2008. Like, basically, we lost everything. Atlanta got hit really hard, and like we just, yeah, I mean, we had to start all over. And he's like, and he's very grateful for the experience, and is like, our business is so much stronger and more stable and just better now than it was. Like obviously it sucked going through that, but like we learned so much and came back so much stronger.
Yeah.
And that seems to be like, I had a realtor that said they got in around when you did it. He's like, you learned a lot. You learned like, hey, these are this is just the way you have to do it. And it was tough. And I compared it to somebody getting in like pre-COVID, and then COVID hit, and they were probably like, oh geez, houses are selling like crazy, and
Yeah.
like mortgage rates are amazing, and then they go to 7%, and they're like, oh, this is awful. Like,
Do this, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like calluses you a little bit to the
It
tougher
does.
times when you go through those.
It does. I don't ever want another COVID era ever.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it. I look back at those numbers and I think, breathed and slept mortgage for about
Yep.
2.5 years.
Yeah. People just, yeah. I mean, it was wild. Yeah, for sure. So you got into Prime Bank, and it took a while, you said, for like that pipeline to really grow. I'm
Yes.
interested to hear a little bit about your office and the real estate, like how that came to be. Was that something that Prime like had set up, or is that something that you did, or like how did that all come to fruition?
It was a relationship that our bank had, and it was an opportunity. And do you want to come sit in here? And I was a little skeptical at first. Obviously, I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of relationships built. So I was kind of newer, but I took a chance and said I was there until 2022. So obviously it was working. But then COVID happened, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like the structure of real estate changed, where maybe people weren't coming to the office as much anymore. And I kind of had to take a look at that and like, okay, I'm sitting in here and not seeing a lot of traffic because that, has changed. So it was a leap of faith for me, very scary, but it was a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot of wonderful relationships out of that office that I cherish. They've trusted that I learned it doesn't matter where you sit. They trust you for you and your knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm curious because honestly, this is something that I've thought about and we've actually implemented. We have a office inside a real estate agency, and we haven't like fully staffed it yet. Like I just know that the relationship's the important part, right? And my thing is like this could supercharge a relationship. Like you're in the same office space, right? And like you're gonna grab coffee at the same time, or you're just gonna chit chat at the water cooler. Like that'll help the relationship grow. And typically, it's like once you talk to somebody, most people are pretty likable, and you're like, oh, I like that
Right.
person, right? It's the
Yeah. Oh, for
question is,
sure.
do you have the time to talk?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious, like how that experience, I guess, helped build that relationship, and I would say the one thing I see is like, yeah, real estate agents are very rarely like in one spot at a time,
Yeah.
like
They're
going to
on the go.
houses, and they're mobile a lot. They're on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could just maybe just give me a little advice on having our office there and what we should be doing, and,
Yeah.
and how we can grow that.
I think it's all about gaining trust. And if they know that you know what you're talking about, then they're going to trust you, and if they pop in and ask questions and realize, okay, I may or may not get this deal, but I'm here to help, and whether I have that customer or not goes a long way. And it's just, what's nice with being down there is you're the first person they see. Like, yeah, well, go talk to them, they know what they're talking about. So I think it's just the gaining trust is the biggest piece with any real estate agent, because there's so many horror stories that I'm sure everyone has heard about. Oh, well, I used so and so and that deal fell through, and it's hard to trust. And from a realtor's perspective, they've got their little spheres of who they find knowledgeable and trust. So that would be my biggest advice, is to follow through.
Did you, like, looking back, do you remember, like, there being a little bit of a ramp up time even in
Oh
there
yeah,
of, like
it took a couple years. I went down there in 2011. And I would say 2015 was my first year of starting to get production awards. So it
Mhm.
it took about 4 years um, to build. So everything takes time. Nothing is just, oh, it's easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it
If you
took a
want to
good couple
last.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And one thing I always just talk to, again, my agents about is typically it's like you build that relationship, right? And most people, unless you're like getting into the industry at the same time as someone else, right? And they're just like, okay, I
yeah,
have nobody. But most people
yeah,
that have been in there that you're like, man, I really want that relationship because they do a lot of business and I want to
yeah.
work with that. Like they already have those relationships, right?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, when I train newer lenders too, I always say, okay, start with the top couple. They're going to be tougher to crack because they've
Yeah.
got those relationships. Find a couple in the middle. Or maybe you just hear them complaining one day at the water cooler.
Yeah.
Grab those and then grab a couple new ones, because you're new too. And, they've got to start somewhere. They're going to build that trust with you because, and that relationship with you, because they're new too. So you can kind of have all levels of how long they've been in the business, and you kind of combine all of those and you'll start getting some business.
Yep. Yep, and I always tell them, like, you've gotta be ready for that moment when they're like, "Oh, the people that I generally go to can't do
Yep.
this one," right?
Yeah. You swoop
And
in.
then prove yourself, right? Like, you gotta step up and you gotta knock it out of the park, and then you might not get another one, but, you'll at least show, like, "Hey, if you do call me again, like, I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna knock it
Yep.
out of the park for you." And
Yeah.
then it's like, that's the first one you're gonna get, it's gonna be really hard because all the easy ones, they're just going to keep sending the people that they're already working with, right?
Right.
But
Yep. That's
they're going
so
to
true.
call you when they have to like solve a problem they can't get
Oh,
solved
yeah.
with their current
Yeah.
connections. And
Yeah.
if you can do that, now you're like a player, right? And they're like,
Yep.
okay, this person, they kind of stepped up and took care of me, and if I have another hard one, I'm going to go back to them. And then yeah, that's where the ball starts rolling, right?
Yep.
2 3 years down the road, like you said, it's like, okay, now they're actually making it easier than the people that I was using, so I'm gonna keep just going to that spot. And so, yeah, I agree. I always say, even like when I got into insurance, other than my brother, like most people were like a little bit guarded. Like they know I don't know what I'm talking about yet, so
Yeah.
they're like,
Right.
I gotta wait this guy out and see if he's really gonna be good at this. And my mom, but my mom's still not a customer, but she would. I'm like, Mom, you don't need to overpay to be my
Right.
customer. Like, I can still be your insurance advisor. You don't have to like pay my commission. So,
It's
but yeah, I mean, it does take a while, and like you said, it's just like hard work and consistency, and I say it's just like when I was coaching wrestling. Like you got to really believe in the process and not just expect results to happen one day. If you
yeah,
can continue to invest and show up and work hard every day, like those things will start to show up.
they do.
It just takes a couple years, and that's the
Takes
reality of
time.
business.
Yeah, it's not a hurry up and be successful.
Yep.
It takes a lot of hard work and time.
Yep. So now that you talked a little bit about your network and you get a lot of referrals. Now, what do you feel like is some of the ways that you stay connected to your network and you continue to just have those relationships cultivated now?
So I will admit I am a horrible social media person, but it's kind of like, wow, that's success, because I'm not out there all the time saying what I do. If you go to my social media pages, I don't even know if you would know what I do. And some people are like, you got to push that, April. I'm like, what? I've been doing this for a long time and I've been successful. So if I now were all of a sudden to start putting a whole bunch of stuff on social media, people would be like, what are you doing? That's not you. So I, try to go to some community events. I stay in front of my referral partners out and about, sending some emails, hey, here's a new product. Or it's all about state of mind, like staying in front of people. While all banks might have most of the same products, maybe there's something new, or maybe there's an update coming up. Send an email, let people know, okay, here's what's going on in our world. Sending thank you notes, little things like that to stay in front of people, like, or a thinking of you card, or just visibility. Most people would say social media, that's where it's all at. I am just an odd duck where I don't use it, but there's other ways, like what I just said, that what I do and it works. You've got to find what works for you and that makes it you. Like I said, if I were to start doing that now, people would consider that fake. And I don't like that. It's not me.
How has like your role changed within Prime Bank, over the last whatever years, and from being the person that was sitting in the real estate office to, I know like there is a team at Prime Bank that is in the mortgage office. Like, how has your role changed and evolved?
It's really been kind of the same, more of the same. I do feel they consider me more of a leader role here at the bank where I am a odd duck. I know guidelines like the back of my hand. So someone can call me, April, what is that guideline? And I'll know it. I don't know. It's a weird thing about myself. I know the guidelines. Just having other lenders to walk things through, like, how would you do this? Or, so we rely on each other a lot, which it's nice to have other people to bounce ideas off of. Um, I would say, other than that, I would be considered more of a leader. I would say the go-to for questions on a lot of stuff. But I've been here a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen all the changes come through and I've stayed. So I'm a good
Mm-hmm.
resource.
Nice. And like, how many mortgage um, lenders are there in Prime Bank? Because what do you guys have? Do you guys have 4 locations? Is that right? Am I counting
We've
correctly?
got three, well, four, I guess. We've got two locations in Sioux City and
Yeah.
then Lamar's and Sioux Center. So we've
Okay.
got two lenders here in Sioux City, one in each location, Lamar's and Sioux Center. So we've got four. And then
Okay.
we have a team of processors, internal underwriters. So there's servicing. We've got a couple people sitting in servicing that handle all of the questions when people call in with payments. So we've got a really good group.
Yep. Yep. And I guess that's probably, I think I've met with maybe some of the processors there, and
Yeah.
I just maybe not understood exactly the differentiation of what the roles were. But yeah. So, and you basically focus on mortgages and personal
Yes.
residences.
Yes.
Do you work in any like investment properties, and if somebody wants to buy a single family rental?
Yeah, yep, I can. But it kind of just depends on their goal. If are you going to put this in an LLC? If so, we got to connect you to a commercial lender here. If it's I want to buy a couple rentals, keep them in my primary name, I can handle those. So it just really depends on their focus. We've got a
Mm-hmm.
great group of commercial lenders here at the bank as well. So I mean, we all kind of work hand in hand. And hey, I've got this customer. Will you take a look at it? What do you think? So it's great to have that team of very knowledgeable lenders.
All right. Got a few more questions for you, and then I'll get you out of here so we can hopefully go make some more mortgages happen. Um, if you had to recommend one book to somebody, that was maybe a friend or somebody getting in the mortgage industry, what would the book be that you would recommend?
You are a badass.
Nice. I've never heard that one.
It's good. Yeah. It's got a big
Awesome.
yellow cover. It's just very motivational. I'm kind of one of those geeks that likes those motivational quotes. I start my day and reading motivational quotes. It's just what gets me going. But it's just a good reminder that you're in control. You set the tone and how those relationships and how your day goes. When you get up, that mood you're in sets your day. So wake up
Love
and be
that.
motivated.
Yep, you are a badass. My wife gets a kick. I like to listen to public music. Like I like to drive with no music, but then when I get to the office, I like to jam out a little bit, get in there, get pumped up for the
Yes.
day.
Yes.
Yesterday she went to the office with me, and I turned on "Let 'Em Know" by Ti. And then and then I told her when we left the office, I said, I played that at our team meeting. That's how I started off our team meeting. She's like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, I was hyped
Yeah,
for the day.
it is hype. Everyone needs
Yeah.
some hype.
Yeah. I like to get motivated and bring some energy. So yeah,
Yes.
do you have a pump up song? That's my question.
I don't
I
really
know your
have
pump up
my
book.
my playlist ranges from 90s rap to these country to Taylor Swift. Like it really just depends on my mood. I don't have one particular song, I guess, but I do have playlists that I listen to according to the kind of mood I'm in.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I'm the same. Like I don't have a genre. My
No.
radio is probably on country most of the time, but then
Yeah.
I'll flip on like Ti or
Yeah.
and it just
I
kind of
love some
depends
salt
on the
and
day.
pepper. I love
Oh
90s
yeah.
everything. If I could go back into the 90s, I would do it in a heartbeat. My
Oh, I love
favorite.
that.
Yes.
I Probably my second when I'm on XM radio or Sirius XM Lithium. It's like 90s grunge. I love that
Ooh, I
stuff.
don't know
Yeah.
that one. I'll have to find
Yeah.
that. I would
Yeah, a
like
lot
that.
of yeah, it's good. But yeah, that's not on the regular radio, so I don't get to listen to that very often. But if you had, again, one habit that you have daily that you think has been important for your success.
Communicate and follow up. So many clients will come to me and say, well, I'm getting ghosted. That's one thing that I
Yeah.
will not do. I make sure everyone's called back or emailed back before the end of the day. Open communication is key. So that would be my one thing that I do every day is communicate.
Do you have like a rule? Let's say you and I are working and I'm trying to make a decision what I want to do and I say, hey, like I need to think about this, I'll give you a call back. Do you have a rule like how long before you follow up when somebody tells you like I'm gonna think about this and then I'll let you know?
I don't really. I kind of just feel it out. Everyone's a little different with that. And I don't want to come across as, okay, you're bugging me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes 24 hours or, maybe 2 days. Like, hey, do you have any more questions? Follow up with, can you come into the office where we can chat and meet face to face and go over those numbers? What's kind of nice with our business is we laugh at like the online lenders, right? It's like, oh, well, you can apply in your pajamas. You can do that with us too. There's clients I do not see until the closing table. I do all my own closings, so get kind of busy with those, but or I can handhold. You want to come in and let's walk you through it. First time home buyers, they need that extra guidance. I will be with you however little or as much as you want in the process, which is what makes us a little unique.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 100% true. I mean, we're the same way in the insurance, right? Some people are like, "Hey, I want to come in and talk to you about it." And some people are like, "Let's just do it all over the phone. We're good with that."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Okay, either one works." I mean,
Yeah.
we'll meet
Whatever
you where
works
you
for
want to
you.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing, like I always think, when someone says, "Hey, I need to think about it," I always tell my salespeople like, there's probably something they're worried about and they're concerned about. They're not wanting to say out loud. And,
Absolutely.
and like you said, like just that check in where they're like, okay, like I'm gonna say it now out loud, right? And be like, hey, like this is kind of what's holding me back. Like those check-ins, I just love that you said follow up because that's so important. And like I just think as humans, we get in our head a lot of like, you know, um, where we don't follow up and we should. And they, I always tell people like I'm not the easiest sell, but like generally when I'm connecting to a salesperson, I want to buy it, right?
Right.
And like I'm
Yes.
talking to you for a reason, and so I do want you to follow up, even though I may have some
Absolutely.
reservations and I might not tell you I'm buying today. Like I need a salesperson that follows up. And when they do, usually my experience is great because I end up getting the problem solved that I came there with, right? But I am
Yes.
somebody that has to be followed up with. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like I'm a little
And
reserved, right?
a lot of people are. And I think it's the fear of hearing no. And so that's why maybe some people don't, but that's okay too, because then you learn, okay, well, what can I do to earn your business next time? And you don't know if you don't ask.
Yeah, and like yeah, one thing I learned when I was recruiting was, if someone said go for no, and I think that's a book now, or it probably always was. I just never read it. Like it's like a no is good for everybody too, right? It's like it lets me know, hey, we weren't the right fit for you, or right, like you didn't get educated well enough. It's not a bad thing. It's like at the end of the day, I always say like let's just get feedback one way or the other, right? And
Feedback
and
is
that
good.
follow up gives you that feedback typically. So yeah, I love that follow up. That's a great piece of advice, and something that everybody should have as a daily habit of following up with people and getting back to them. If you had a responsibility-free day where you had nothing you had to do, what would you spend your day doing?
Okay, I love naps. I love them. So definitely a nap. I like to be outside in the sun, lay by the pool, depending on the time of year. I also love to
Yeah.
thrift shop. I love thrifting. It's my favorite things, and my kids hate it. So if I had some time to myself, totally what I would go do.
All right, now I got it. My wife's gonna be like, "I'm listening to that episode. I heard that there was thrifting coming because she loves to thrift
Yes.
too." What's like? Give me your top. Give me a couple thrift shops where you're like,
Oh,
"Oh, these are my top thrift shops in the Siouxland area."
so I love the vintage one on Highway 75. I think it's Flippin' Vintage. I might be saying that wrong. Obviously, there's the Goodwills. Then I don't know the names of them, but they're over by like Unclaimed Freight. There's a couple in there that are
Oh,
tucked
yeah.
in. I don't know the names of them. You can find some good little things, some collectibles. But if I'm looking for clothes, which is usually what I am, I mean the Goodwill. I've been told that Sioux Falls has some amazing shops. I want to go up there, but around here, there's another one I think called Stuff in Indian Hills. That one is good, and it supports the Boys and Girls Home. So
Oh, nice.
the Bargain Center supports Catholic Charities. That one's a great little spot. Got to have cash though. Got to have cash on you. They don't take
Yep.
debit cards.
When you're in another town and you see a thrift shop, are you like, "Hey, I want to stop there"?
I stop. I usually will Google before I go and like, okay, I'm going to
Nice.
be in this little area. What's around me? That's a fun little shop that I can. I love to support local small businesses. So there's like boutiques or anything like that. I would much rather go than a chain store.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's like when we travel, I think that's like one of the things my wife looks forward to is like, I want to see if there's a thrift shop in this
Yes.
place that I'll never come back to. I just
Yeah.
want to like go in there and check it out and see what they have. And I'm like, I love that. Just don't buy furniture, right? Like we can't buy furniture when we're 2 hours away and we got 4 kids in the car.
Well, when you find
We
something, you
got to bring a
find it.
trailer. Yeah.
Can't really
Yeah.
control what you find. That's what I like about it. It's just you don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely had furniture bought multiple hours away with no room in the car, but
Yeah.
trying to limit that. Yeah. Thrifty. I love that. That's fun.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
If someone's looking to connect with you, what is the best spot to connect with you at?
So I'm located at 2700 Hamilton. I would say give our office a call, 277-4777. Otherwise, we have an online application if you wanted to hop on and check that out. It's primebankmortgage.com. Those would be the easiest ways, or my email, april.mahr@primebank.com. Shoot me an email. I'm happy to connect anytime, answer questions.
Okay. Awesome, April. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much for
you.
having me.
Yep. And go be a badass, right?
Yes. Talk to you
Okay.
soon.
All right. See.
Bye.
All right. So it'll